So welcome, guys, to our first maybe magic meeting. I don't know what we're going to call this, but I'm just excited you guys are here. I think the best way to get started, just take a little moment, introduce ourselves, who we are, how long we've been doing magic. Let's just start there.
All
So I'll kick it off. So my name is Rudy. I've been doing magic about 20 years. And that's it. maybe a fun fact, or you said favorite trick, right? Favorite trick.
Sure.
I feel like I'm in an AA meeting. Hi, my name is Rudy.
We're talking about something that controls your life.
Right, yeah.
The spotlight's on you.
Oh, man. Literally, and figuratively. I would say for me, favorite magic trick is card through window. Very classic, but I feel like no trick affects people like that. So, that'd be me.
My name's James. Been doing magic for 4 years. Favorite trick is Omni deck, hands down.
Literally, hands down.
Period. That's all.
My name's Landon. Orlando, if you please. I've been doing magic for about 8 years, and I'd say 2-card Monty is a classic. And from 2-card Monty, you can work your way into other tricks very smoothly. So it's a very good go-to.
My name is Sal Vargas. I've been doing magic for about more than 10 years, actually. I would say my favorite magic trick has anything to do with like gambling routines, but mostly I think we do like 3-card Monty stuff. I love 3-card Monty and ACO, ambiguous card routine. That's another good one.
Awesome.
My name is Dylan. I've been into magic for 23 years. And the trick that got me back into magic as like a grown-up person with a career, my favorite trick, is Max Maven's Wave. If we're familiar. Love that trick.
Okay, I like this. I like this. Yeah, it's so cool to have all this magic energy here among us. It's really great to have us all together. Okay, so the next question I really want to ask, and maybe Dylan, if you want to kick us off here, because you've someone experienced both doing it, but also just like the theory of magic as well. Mm-hmm. What does magic mean to you?
It's a deep question.
The answer changes depending on what day of the week you're asking, right?
So on Sunday, what would you say?
Inevitable surprise.
I think of comedy when like inevitable laughter.
If it's a good comedian.
Right, it's a good comedian, a good magician, inevitable surprise.
It could be anything, but I would say making the impossible possible. That'd be one.
Yeah.
2 different things, depending on whether you're a spectator or a magician. If you're a magician, then, the magic, what you're doing isn't really magic to you, but the effect that it has on the people that you're showing, just the fact that you can just completely make someone's day, make someone smile, break out laughing, take off sprinting, and then come running back because they're just minds blown. I think that is pretty magical to me.
Yeah.
Making adults feel like children again.
There you go.
There you go.
Especially on Rainy Street.
Right.
Like, bro, that's crazy. What? For me, it's so like philosophical. I was watching the master class of Penn and Teller, and they have this great line. So it's not from me, but they're saying that magic is like a very like epistemological, maybe, I don't know if that's even the right word or phrase of it, where what's happening is that you're challenging someone's notion of what is real at its core. Because if someone can pay all the attention, all their focus on one thing, and still be fooled, how much of life that we don't even put that much focus to are we being fooled in, right? So it's like it's the idea of like, what can you trust is real, what is real? If it appears real, but it's fake, but it still causes a real effect, is that real, So that's what I love about magic, that it's like something that's not real, that's maybe fake, but creates something real, creates a real
like
effect.
religions.
Like religions 1,000 years ago. Same thing with movies. I compare it to movies a lot as well.
Yeah. You say movies. I'm a filmmaker, so that's something I've always aspired to be. I want to be a filmmaker. Well, I am a filmmaker. I'll say that.
Yeah,
Actually,
you are. Take the title. Yeah.
I'm a director and a screenwriter, so movie magic, absolutely love, and it helped me grow up to be the person I am today. And magic also kind of allowed me to be in this direction to break the ice with people, getting to know people, networking, and people like yourselves. I'm so happy to be here for this matter.
We have a lot of talent here in this group, and I know a lot of us have other interests aside from magic. So how have other interests affected your interest in magic? So then I know you got unicycling. That's how I met you. You were a unicycle.
my first
this boy
hobby.
pulled up. He's like, it's that boy on the unicycle.
Pretty much. I was actually that boy for Halloween.
Oh, that's
the
dope.
green morph suit, frog mask, riding around on a unicycle.
Oh shit!
Awesome.
What up? Oh shit! What up? So tell us. I know I want to hear about everyone, but Landon, kick us off. Like, how did maybe other hobbies or interests influence Magic, or what other hobbies are you interested
I
in?
mean, I like you said, I started off with unicycling, and that was just so weird. It was such a weird hobby that nobody else did, and it was just very unique, and it grabbed a lot of people's attention. It was a great icebreaker. I don't know, I really loved the weirdness of it all. Eventually, started watching David Blaine on, TV, and I was just like, I want to do that, just like the unicycle. So I started just learning a few things here and there, and just watching him, and breaking down his hand movements and just trying to piece together what he's doing. And I learned a few card tricks here and there like that, and I practiced it out on people, and it was weird, just the reactions that I would get, and that's just how I really got drawn into it. I'm already doing weird hobbies, why not just add on to it and keep going?
Keep it awesome and weird, man.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the plan.
Hobbies. Love chess.
Other hobbies.
Chess.
I love chess.
Oh, chess. I didn't
Chess.
I didn't know
I
this.
didn't know
Yeah.
that. Me too.
I played chess with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't like. Man, I'm good at like classical chess, but I love just putting like a minute on the clock and just playing some bullet. Just.
That's something I can't
Yeah.
do.
Okay.
Chess is
Yeah.
fun. I'm not good at speed.
I didn't know that. I mean, you had the background with like track and running and stuff.
Yeah.
Right? But like, I didn't.
I got into it during COVID, which is when I got into Magic like super deeply. I started practicing it. Instead of like an hour, I was doing it all day long, making
Yeah.
Instagram videos and YouTube videos.
Oh
And
wow.
That's when everybody had a lot of free time.
yeah, and that's when I got obsessed with chess too. Now that Magic is now my job, like chess is on the back burner, but I still kicked his butt
Okay.
when I.
Yeah,
He beat me pretty bad.
Oh man.
I did. The last time we played, we were in the Waterburger line together, and
Yeah.
we were both playing chess, just back and forth, passing the phone, and he made one mistake, and I finally got that one checkmate, followed mate in two.
Yeah,
Wow.
and he passed me. He didn't even say checkmate at me. I just passed me the phone back, and he waited for me to.
He knew what was going to happen.
It was like next. It was an inevitable mate.
Yeah.
And so he was waiting for me to fit, and then I look back and he's already grinning at me. Yeah.
Yeah, a little chess tournament. Well, I guess for all of it, do you play chess? Like, has that affected Magic at all, or how do your other interests
If
influence
anything,
Magic?
it benefited it because when I was performing on the street, I used to have a chessboard on my table for decor. I don't know, just look
wow.
fancy, and so people would come up to me, and after a Magic trick, they would pay me to play chess.
Oh, sick.
nice.
That's
Oh,
awesome.
And then,
And then you'd beat them.
yeah, I was like, we're not doing any chess hustler. Like, I'm not gonna pay you if you beat me. They're like, no, I'll pay you to play me. And I was like, you're on. That's all right.
That's
And then, like,
so-
You're just
like-
free rolling. That's nice.
Yeah. So people would walk by and they think it's like a chess hustle. It's like a New York style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Dylan, I know with you, I mean, you got an extensive background in piano. Like, how is that?
Yeah.
That love for piano, love for
Yeah,
Magic.
piano's the only thing I've been into longer than Magic. So about the age of 6, I was taking piano lessons,
Oh, okay.
and really hated it for a long time, to be honest with you. It became fun as a teenager, right around the time Magic became a thing. That's when piano became fun too. I guess they're related in the sense that piano, the more you practice piano, the easier and fun it becomes to actually play the piano, like in front of other people, for example. Same is true with Magic, except I think you only get to practice when there's another person in front of you. You can develop some perfect sleight in the privacy of your own home, but it's not until you've been out there 100 times to try that thing. With a magician, maybe that's okay, but I'm really talking about lay people, I think. There's a relationship between practice there.
That reminds me of this art form needs an audience, right? So obviously you can
Yeah,
practice.
what is the output? It's something
Yeah.
happening in the spectator's mind. That's what we're here to make, right? So
Yeah.
that's why you need a spectator.
You need the art form requires a spectator to have the art form happen. I mean, you could argue that like a painting or a drawing doesn't need it necessarily, right? But with Magic, because I'm trying to make you feel something, right?
Yeah.
Or go crazy, right? Same thing with comedy. Like you can't. I guess you can make yourself laugh, but like you can't freak yourself out. When we're practicing in the mirror, we probably see some pretty crazy stuff. But you're like, whoa, that looks cool.
That looks pretty good from that angle.
Yeah, it's like, whoa, right? But this art form requires someone else necessarily for the art form to be in its fullest final form. I know we get this question all the time because this is like one of the most common ones. But if you could tell us how you got started in Magic. Sal, I actually don't really know how you. I know it's about more than 10 years. But how did you first get started in Magic? What was that first, jump into it?
Yeah, I was a little kid. I was like 8 or 9 years old, and it was I was in Christmas for like a family vacation, and one of my family members, I think it was my aunt, she got me like this certificate, like to go to a magic shop where a magician there would teach me how to do magic. So there was like a private tutor, something like that. I was like, oh cool, and my sister came along too, and I was already amazed by it, and I was just like in shock, and I was awed, and I'm like, oh, I really want to do this, and I never knew anything about it before. And it was like, oh, this is so cool. And I was mostly focused on the playing cards, and I was just like wanting to play with them all day long. And then afterwards, I looked up a trick. It was the very first trick was Dr. Daly's last trick, which was the 4 aces transposition. I love that. It's probably one of my favorites, actually. I would take just those 4 cards when I was in middle school, and I would do that trick. And I was like, people were like amazed by that. So.
Their minds are blown.
Yeah.
So what kept you going? Because a lot of people start and then they stop, right? So what kept you going?
I was on and off, and then later in my high school, I decided to bring cards again after learning a couple more tricks, and I just want to learn more after the reactions, and I just want to keep learning more and more. It was fun for me to watch the reactions and to kind of people hyping me up like, this is the greatest thing I saw. And it's like those kind of words, I want to do more. So I just couldn't stop, in other words.
Yeah,
it's pretty addicting.
Yeah.
In other words,
it's crazy. Yeah, to be able to be that person that can bring that out in people. You know, James, like you mentioned, both chess, but also magic and COVID. Tell us a little bit more about that, man.
I was doing it before COVID, and I had done maybe 2 or 3 gigs. Before that I was working at a restaurant. Remember, I did a card training, like 2 card tricks. I just happened to show one to a table I was serving at, and they tipped me like $5 extra.
How did you even learn those 2 card tricks before?
My cousin showed me, and I begged her to teach me how to do it.
Oh,
Please. She kept saying no. But she taught me, and instead of being like, oh, I thought it was real magic, I was fascinated that somebody was able to figure that out. Like someone sat down and figured that technique out to do the trick and to make it look magical. So that was cool. So I kind of got the magic bug. It's like a lot of people learn when they were kids. I learned when I was like 16 years old. So
yeah.
I didn't know how to shuffle cards when I was that age. My dad had to spread the cards out for me in my hand when we played card games. I couldn't see all the pips in the cards. I didn't know how to fan them yet. Yeah, and then it just one after another. I got opportunities, started getting paid from it, and then COVID. No one.
Yeah. Okay, interesting. Landon, so I know you also mentioned the whole unicycle thing, but how did you then get started into magic?
I saw a trick online where this guy had a button-up shirt on, and he had a shirt, just a t-shirt underneath, and he would turn around, and then he would turn back around, and the shirt underneath was a different shirt, and all he did was just like shake his outer shirt, and I was just like, that's crazy. I don't know how it's done. I don't have the money to buy this trick, so I'm just gonna try to do it myself. I still don't know how the trick was actually done, but it worked for me, and I got some great reactions from that. It's like, if I can figure this out, then what else can I figure out? And just started really diving deep into just any kind of magic I could figure out.
Now I want to go back to the idea of like method and reverse engineering in a second, but I also want to hear how you got started.
How I got started in magic. I was 13 years old in 1999. David Blaine's Street Magic Special came on TV. My parents had an early version of TiVo, so we could easily record stuff. I recorded it and I watched it every day. And very similarly from that, I reversed my version of his card tricks. So the first one was 2 card transpo. Still do it to this day, my way. Saw him do it first. David Blaine's 2 card Monty, and that was the beginning of card magic for me, and I fell pretty deep down the rabbit hole. I was card guy.
You can go as far down the rabbit hole as you want.
What kept you going? Because I feel like a lot of people start magic but then they stop. But what kept you going?
I did stop.
Okay, so it stopped. Yeah,
I did stop. I went to college and took getting a degree and a career seriously. So I know I said 23 years of whatever. I wasn't doing magic. I wasn't sure. I was thinking about it, and have a drink or two at a party, and there's a deck of cards. Yeah, I could become the talk of the evening.
Yeah.
But it was few and far between. Right before COVID kicked off, I was ready to step back out there. And so I was joining the magic clubs and buying magic books, coming up with new stuff. and I'm like, okay, it's time to get business cards made.
Yeah.
COVID.
Jeez.
What a shift, man! What a shift!
You should have bought them during COVID. They're on discount.
Yeah.
You don't have to buy them anymore.
Right.
You didn't need them.
That's the time, man. That's the time. For me, I guess the three of us share David Blaine as our God, right? As a true savior. So my dad had magic as a hobby. I actually don't even know where he got it from. I need to ask him where he got it from. And so when I was maybe 7, 8, like that's like the oldest video footage I have of doing magic. We would go to Dallas, buy some old magic tricks on VHS, show them to the family. Then there was a gap. I thought magic was lame. Around 12, that's whenever David Blaine comes up on the scene. And for me, I'd always seen David Copperfield do the huge illusions, but never had seen David Blaine do the close-up magic. And that to me was like the game changer. That was like, whoa, you can do this close up. And then like it felt so accessible, like so close on the street, right? And very much the same way, like I didn't have the TiVo at that time, just recorded it and then watched it over and over to figure out how it was done. And then from there, just took it to school and just kept doing it all throughout high school. In college, I finally got to do like bigger gigs and then just kept doing it since then. But what I wanted to kind of ask each of you, because you brought it up here, here's what's crazy that a lot of people that don't do magic don't understand or maybe might not always see is that we can work thousands of hours, invest thousands of hours into an effect, into a trick, right? For maybe 30 seconds of like, amazement, right? Or like, oh, that was cool. Right? Which is like the craziest thing, right? Or you can sometimes get like a gimmick, like either a trick deck or some trick apparatus that will do the trick essentially for you. You obviously still have to perform it, but then you still get the same effect. And so, what do you guys think about that?
Dangerous topic, man.
That's
Starting to rabbit hole.
You feel the blood, right? Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, what is the balance here of you can still, it's like the method and the effect, right? Like, or people that go to extreme methods to get the effect, right? Because what's so cool is that for example, 2-card money, right? There's like 100 ways to do that trick, and you can customize it, and some are easier, some are better, some do different things. So I don't really know how to even ask this question, but what do you think about the method?
Sounds like you're asking what's better, gimmick or sleight of hand? If the outcome is exactly the same,
That could be a way to ask.
Well,
it.
your job is to blow them away, right? And so, if you're more comfortable performing with the gimmick than using the sleight of hand techniques, and you might mess up the performance aspect of making eye contact and hand coordination, and then I think you should use the gimmick.
I think anything goes. It's generally my approach in Magic. Anything goes. I can use any tricky, funky cards I want to, any props I want to. So I wouldn't disqualify anything on the basis of this is a gimmick.
Yeah.
Does it? Yeah. Do I get to work a little less hard? Which is my goal, by the way, to not try to work so hard.
But you can put the extra work into the performance aspect.
That's what I'm talking about. I have to relax to enjoy myself during Magic. It's we're riding invisible unicycles and juggling invisible flaming torches. Of course. So I'm trying to not freak out while that's going on.
There's going on, and you're in charge of it all.
Yeah, especially because the starting point for a lot of people is already assuming you're doing something tricky. So it's like people already assume that the cards might be tricked, or that you have something up your sleeve, and so if you do have something up your sleeve, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, show don't tell. We want to talk about pet peeves later. That's my pet peeve.
Right.
Is I have an ordinary deck of cards.
No.
Done.
Yeah.
Now you have to prove it.
What things either frustrate you in doing Magic, or you're like, man, why can't people get this?
Overstating, like I said, the ordinary deck of cards, or here I have a box. I don't. Tell us about the box, but we can see it's a box. Why do we care about the box?
Oh, so you're talking about pet peeves of magicians, right?
Of Magic in general,
or just a Magic in general? Okay, yeah.
What pet peeves were you talking about?
All the people.
Both. Here's the biggest pet peeve, man. You show let's say the cards with 7 of clubs. I'm like, this is your card, 7 of spades. And they're like, yeah. It's like, but it's not. But it looks the same, right? Or like even like red, like a 7 and a 7, it's black and red, but they're just they weren't paying attention, so it makes you look bad. But then again, that might have been your fault. If they're not paying attention, you weren't engaged enough. So it's like
when the audience messes up, in a sense, like, because you never want to, like, it's like a comedian calling out the audience for not getting a joke, and so
it's like, was it really a good joke?
You never want to put the audience in the bad position, right? But there are times when the audience, in a sense, messes up. Either they're not paying close attention, or sometimes they forget the card. Sometimes something happens, they get distracted. especially like on Rainy Street.
I heard Chris Ramsey say that it's always the magician's fault. It's always their fault. It's never the audience's fault.
I think it'd be their fault.
I don't think he's ever performed on Rainy Street or 6th Street before.
Yeah.
You know?
Huh.
If you know that it's like not their card, but they think it's their card, that does take some really quick thinking to try to like fix that. To just be like, oh, that you thought this is your card, let me just change it really quick. Was it actually the spade instead of club? It's really quick on the fly thinking, but it is very frustrating when they just don't know their own card.
If you're one-on-one with a person, then yeah, you can do that. But when you have like 30 people around you and you put the card in their hand and they're like, yeah, and then everyone else is like, no, it wasn't, and then everyone's like arguing,
That's why everybody's got to take a look at the card.
Yeah. Have you ran into any pet peeves?
I think just being like overly challenged to the point where it's just like, what's the point of like continuing? Or it's like
heckler energy.
A lot of like, I don't mind like a lot of times they're just skeptical, which is totally fine. You want to be able to blow their minds away, but at some point there's a point where you can draw the line, and it's like there's no point in showing you any more magic if you don't want to. And it's like, let's say they pick a card and they ask me, hey, can I have the deck? And I was like, yeah, sure. Like you can follow along to a point, and then it's like, okay, cool, do something. And it's like, well, give me the deck.
They're like, no, without the deck.
It's like, what do you want? Yeah. That energy is so interesting. So I have a theory that the population is divided into fifths, right? So you have like 1/5 of people like really, really love magic.
Yeah.
Like you could just do something simple and they're like best thing ever, right?
Yes.
You have the other side, right? That's like the yin to the yang, right? You have the other fifth where people just, I don't even know if it's like a hate or just a very.
They really want to see you mess up.
They really want to see you mess up. Like they act.
A magician murdered my family.
Well, they're at least willing to watch if they want to see you mess up. Like that's like number 4 bracket. Number 5 is like they don't even want to be around you. They'll wear the T-shirts to say, "I do not give consent for you to show me a magic trick."
Yeah. Like get out of here. That and then the middle half, they can be swayed either way. Depending if you're good enough or not.
Be a good salesperson.
Well, yeah. How do you? What is it like being a magician in this year where there is such a skepticism, I think, about magic as well. Like I think we share this as well on Rainy Street, that we start at a very low point where people expectations are so low. They're like, oh, magician on the street, I've probably been good.
Must be crap.
Right? It works in our favor though, because even if we're just like halfway decent, the starting point is so low that like, oh wow, like it's actually not bad, right? What do you guys think about that? Like the initial expectation of magic being, a little low at times.
Well, I mean, the expectation when you ask someone if they want to see a magic trick, the first thing they say is it free? Yes, it's free. Tips are appreciated, but completely
say
free
no.
for sure. It's like, which trick do you want? The $5 trick, the $5 trick, the $10 trick, or the $20 trick?
If you say no, then sometimes I find people, they find that hilarious. They're like, at least you're honest, brother. And they'll watch a trick.
All right, you got me.
Yeah. It's like, oh, you got to take my money. It's like, yeah.
That's the plan.
And if they leave, then they leave. They were not going to pay you anyway. But if they stay, at least you have money on your side. You're honest, and it's kind of like you broke that ice. I don't know. You can try both out. Say yes, say no. Whichever do 100 yes, 100 no. See which one you get more of.
How do you come up against the expectation sometimes, or even
I got a real confidence boost once I discovered this low bar we're talking about. Most people expect magicians to suck, and I think maybe it comes from 90s restaurant magic, which
the guy in the hat.
I think that's where does it come from? I think that's where it comes from. And so we're a lot better than those guys. I think. My
wife tells me that.
I might not have 1,000 reps on certain tricks or whatever like they do, but I've got different tricks that hit differently. People are different 20, 25 years later than when that stuff was really popular and really in.
That's a good perspective. What do you think makes a good magician, and what makes a great magician?
I think we were saying about like humility, where it's like you're letting them know the expectations are low. You never give them such high expectations. Hey, this is the greatest thing you're gonna see. And I've seen magicians do that, and it's just mediocre magic, which is the same thing we can all do. And it's like, I think the presentation really matters. I undersell myself a lot, and then that allows me to go up for them. So like, oh wow, that's amazing. Whether it's like, hey, this is the greatest trick. Oh, let's see it. Oh, okay, that's it. And I can do the same thing. I think presentation just matters in a different way.
I think that's so true.
Talking about underselling yourself, psychologically, I've noticed when I'm on the street and someone comes up to me, sometimes I'll I'll pretend to not know what I'm doing. So I won't fair shuffle. I won't spread them out pretty. I won't spring them. I'll just kind of like clump shuffle them, and you can do it if you want, and
maybe drop a card or two.
Yeah, when I'm shuffling them, like someone like
green it up.
Exactly. And they kind of feel bad for you a little bit, and, like
I like those a lot. Rather making it seem like you're so grand or better, and it's just like that. I don't know.
Yeah,
that's what throws me off or turns me off.
If it's in the service of deception, then yeah. But generally, come on, I think you have to think alpha energy a little bit.
Sure.
If you're going to do strong magic, I think this is whatever, this is my street, this is my event, this is my I'm glad these people got married, but they're here to see my magic. I think that's a healthy way to approach that stuff.
Yeah, when I'm at weddings and stuff, and you're
there to shape reality. You're there to shape reality. It starts there.
True,
this
exactly.
is my event.
A really good trick that like kind of sets the bar really low, but then just kind of blows their mind in the end is when you mess up on purpose.
Yes.
But it's just leading up to something. Yeah. That's like the Chicago opener where I don't know if y'all show them a card or they choose a card and then they put it in their hands, or I like to place it under the foot or something. They choose another card, and then it's something completely different. But like you're looking for that different colored card or whatever, and it's not there. You're like, oh, I got you, and then you're just like, check under your foot.
Because it works really well. Because it's almost like a movie too. Like you rising action, then like a little bit of dip, and then it rises again, and so it's that wave function almost creates a bigger impact at the end.
For sure.
I have noticed though, especially on the street, you might get this too, where like people sometimes expect that. Like I'll mess up, and they're like, "Oh, look, he's like he messed up on purpose." Like something people
you actually messed up.
I really just messed up. I gotta go to the next year, guys. Like I come at it from different angles, right? So for me, especially because like my magic show thing, like it's so extravagant, right? For me, it's like if I can create my own little world, like you're walking into my little world, which is kind of what you're referring to. Yeah. And I feel that
into my office.
Basically,
I've literally said that.
Yeah. And what's cool is like I don't think any which one is more right than the other, because the effect of having it, like the cards falling, and it's almost like things are just now happening. I remember there's a famous clip of Chris Pratt doing this on some like late night talk show. You guys might have seen it, where like he acted like he messes up. But then he redeems at the end, but the expectation was so low that it's like incredible, right? For me, the trick that gets one of the best reactions is like one of the least complicated. It's just a double lift, put it in their hand, but you take a moment to like really build up like the whole magic aspect of it, and then people just flip out.
Magic is theater.
Yeah, it's the act for sure.
And it's easy to lose that sometimes in like how difficult is the trick when really it's like what do they feel? What are they? What's going through their minds?
The performance is 90% of it.
Dude, no, so true. I want to ask you guys, who is the greatest magician of all time?
Michael Vincent.
What, dude? He's.
I went up to that. I'm like,
okay. Next question.
So no, there's probably people that have been here around longer than him, but he was the guy. You guys love David Blaine. But Michael Vincent was my guy. He was the first guy that I ever watched. Such a random guy to watch too. Like, not even that famous in like outside of the magic community. I mean, not even magicians know. I mean, not even all the magicians know him. But
I saw his performance at the Magic Castle. But just a recording of it. But it was really good. I mean, the dude knows his stuff. Like,
it's his office, dressed up in a nice suit. He's very professional, and it's kind of like 10 people around him.
Charming British accent.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. I kind of like. I like binged all the videos during COVID. And I fell in love with it.
That's cool. That's cool.
I want you to rephrase the question. Through what lens?
Okay, who's the greatest magician of all time? That's because it could be like modern. There's different. Okay, let's just kind of go through some of the greats then, right? So like Copperfield, right? Thoughts on Copperfield?
Billionaire.
Billionaire.
Successful.
Probably the only billionaire magician.
I think Penn and Teller are pretty close too.
No, they're like. I actually looked up the net worth.
It's only 300 million.
It's only 300 million, guys. Divided by 2, man.
Well, it's pretty far off the billion, so
right. But also Copperfield, the respect I have for him is just how much he still performs. Like he does more than 300 something shows. It's not 500 shows a year. He does some crazy ludicrous amount.
He does 12 a week, 3 on Saturday.
wow.
Like I think he's still one of the most performing acts in Vegas, right, or something.
He's not tired of seeing the money come in, man. He's loving it.
Incredible,
He's
right?
never
So
gonna stop.
Incredible on that, and also just groundbreaking what he did in the 80s, 90s, right? Blaine, I have a soft spot for him, but especially he's the one that I feel like for right now pushes it, like at least the interest there. But then you have like incredible ones like
Ricky J.
Well, Ricky J, of course. Shin Lim, big right now.
Oh, Shin,
right?
yeah.
Right? Is mixing the music with the magic. Like it's just a great.
Piff the Magic Dragon.
Piff the Magic. And
I like him.
Mr. Piffles, Mrs. Piffles, or the dog that he
Mr.
has.
Piffles.
Mr. Piffles. Mr. Piffles. Respect the dog.
He kissed Heidi on his first audition on America's Got Talent. You don't remember? He did the show, and then he invited her up on stage. They were eating a sandwich, and then he ended up kissing her on the mouth. It's like, I don't know if it was consensual or not, but it went viral. I think he planned it out. If I do this, it's gonna go viral. It's gonna blow up. And it works.
It works. Kind of a two-parter. What's the state of magic, and where does magic go from here? If I can preface this right, so the 80s, 90s, Copperfield is huge when these amazing big specials, right? Everyone sees this huge stage magic. Dave Blaine turns it on his head, right? Makes magic all about street magic, close-up stuff, inspires a whole generation. Right now, I'd say we're in the social media, TikTok, like the very short, crazy reaction magic.
Great for short attention span.
Great for short attention span, right? But people don't really get to see the whole story of a trick, right? Mm-hmm. Where do we go from here?
I mean, we were already talking about it a little earlier, I think, before we started with the whole technology video editing aspect of magic, where it's not actual magic, but the crazy effects that someone can make, Zach King. Yeah, is insane. One way it's headed is just video editing and stuff like that, but I mean that's always been there. I mean with Chris Angel on his TV specials, a lot of it's video editing and actors and stuff. So I mean we've kind of always been in that phase for a while, but going on from here, that's a tricky one.
It's a big question.
I don't really see it going anywhere. I see it.
We're just stuck in this.
Well, I feel like what we're
centuries.
stuck in is just the perfect. You have your stage magic and you have your close-up magic.
Okay.
And now you kind of
niches.
have your TikTok magic and your Zoom. Where you're watch this, and then you look at the camera, doing their thing. But I don't see street magic going away, stage magic going away, and I mean I can't think of. I could see Zoom magic taking over. Instead of booking a magician in person, but I mean, COVID's over.
Pandemics can still
I
happen.
mean, skateboarding, vert skateboarding, street skateboarding,
True.
they've been the same, but one was around first.
Yeah.
And street came in, and it's you do hover skateboarding, and
You just get your greats in each category.
I know where it could go. Unicycle magic.
That could be a thing.
What about AI magic? I don't know. It's
Maybe.
Interesting.
That could be interesting.
I think AI could do some impressive stuff.
you could build you a version of you, and then
Oh.
send you to the gig.
Work from home. Literally work from home. Just let it. That's taking care of it.
There are things we're going that are in a great direction of magic, but there's other things that are just going in a weird. Maybe I'm not into this kind of magic.
Like what? Like what?
So TikTok magic, or there's one guy who showed the magic to a person, but he's revealing the magic at the same time to the camera.
Oh, okay.
It could be funny too, but also it's what the hell is this?
Yeah, that's true.
Is it funny if that's how you look? You're what the hell?
I'm breaking my phone with a
Comments.
brick. It's fake. I don't know what that is.
It gets the views though, doesn't it?
It does.
Millions of views.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm really interested. Yeah, just really interested to see what. Maybe it will be a thing where things just get more siloed. There will be great stage magicians, great street magicians.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of since more people are getting more access to it, there'll just be more. So let's go a little bit more personal here. So moving to Austin, right? That's where we finally. So, Landon, you're from Austin,
Indeed.
Austin area.
Yes, sir.
James, are you also
I was born in England, but I've
Born
been
in
living
England,
here since 2014.
So you're our overseas magician, right?
Nice.
Michael Vincent bias, right?
That's why. That's where it comes from. That's where it comes from. I'm trying to ask, how has being in Austin affected your magic journey? Has it affected it?
I couldn't do it if I didn't live in Austin, because I would have to find a different job because I couldn't perform. Unless you move to a different city that's massive with a giant population.
Mm-hmm.
But if you live in a small city, you don't have that type of city life
Yeah.
to where that's acceptable. You can't go down on the street and do street magic. You get looked at weird.
Yes.
I use this as my income, so it's if I move to even Houston, they don't have that bar life.
Yeah.
You don't have Austin's definitely
A place to be for
Yeah.
magic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, being in Austin for so long, it's such a unique vibe. It's so easy even if you're not doing magic, if you don't have cards in your hand, just going up to someone and just striking up a random conversation with almost whoever, it's such a perfect place to just, start up a conversation. If you want to break out a deck of cards, so many people are just so open to wanting to have their minds blown.
Yeah. Going from there, just being when you meet people, and let's say you don't even have a deck of cards or anything on you that's particularly like magic, but of course you can do stuff like rings or pens, whatever. But maybe if you can borrow something from them, or it strikes up. I'm not even doing it at first. Like let's say you, it's just a person you just meet, and let's say you have a conversation for 10 minutes. You're getting to know them. Oh, what's this? And you kind of go into the ring stuff, and it fools them, and they're just amazed by that, and it's a reaction that really, like, I'm so glad I did that, and it was amazing. How did you do? And I'm like, I don't know, I can't tell you.
It makes the world a better place to smile at a time.
Yeah.
It's even better because it's something of there.
How was being in Austin affected by it? Because are you from? Okay,
no. I was born in Virginia. I began my career in New York City. I moved to Austin in 2016, I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I've been here about 6 or 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
Austin's where I have magic community.
Yeah. I was born in Austin actually, but I moved to South Texas, Brownsville, and so I came back here, Austin, for University of Texas at Austin. So I studied film, so I'm a film major, but of course there's the whole college life party, and afterwards on the weekends I would take a deck of cards or bring my Sharpie and all the stuff I need to show drunk college students magic, and they always give out the best reactions ever. And I think one of my favorite moments showing magic was to a group of deaf people who are my age. And I think they gave like the best reaction I could possibly imagine. Not even having to hear a sound. They didn't make a sound, but it's the faces they made that really made me in awe. And I'm just like, this is why I love doing magic.
It's pretty magical.
Yeah.
We always associate magic with being so bombastic, like crazy reactions and stuff.
Yeah.
But you do get those moments where it can be something very emotional, intimate, right? Like sharing that special magic trick. I was gonna ask, what does it feel like to be a magician? Because
it feels great.
Oh no, I was gonna take over the world.
Alpha, you're the star of the show.
The alpha.
The center of attention.
Because if I can just preface a little bit, right? Like, I was just thinking about all the different art forms, right? I think really the only, if you have, musicians, a lot of people are musicians.
Yeah.
It's just, comedians, right? There's a good amount of famous comedians. Magicians gets a lot smaller. Unicyclists, maybe a little
just
slimmer.
I don't know too many unicyclists.
Right. But even so, for me, I knew one other magician at University of North Texas, and then it wasn't until moving to Austin that I finally met up with all you guys.
Yeah.
And James, shout out. And it's just crazy to me, like, that's why I just wanted even just to have this conversation. Just like, bro, like, how rare is it to even meet another magician? And most people, you probably get this too, correct me if I'm wrong, whenever you tell someone, oh, what do you do? You're like, oh, like, I'm a magician. They're like, whoa, what? Like, that's such a rare thing. And so, like, what does it feel like to be a magician?
It's an icebreaker.
I'm not just a magician. I don't often answer the question, what do you do? I'm not often answering, oh, I'm a magician. Except... don't worry about the details. Just know that I was in a negative place going to like a networking event, and I had just the worst day. I said, like, fuck it, I'm going to be a magician at a networking event. What do you do? Today the answer is I'm a magician. And the very first person I spoke to had booked me for a gig like the next week.
Wow.
You're damn right.
So it's funny to me how like I only got to that headspace on the negative track, but it still paid off to get there. So I'm still trying to learn to say fuck it a little bit more often.
Because it doesn't have to be your whole identity, but it can be part of your identity.
Yeah. To give you a more earnest answer to what is it like to be a magician is pretty cool. You know secrets.
Yeah.
You know things about things and how to do things that other people don't know how to do. And you're at a party or some event, getting paid to hang out and have fun, basically.
Yeah, which is a pretty
it feels like cheating.
Yeah,
feels like cheating at life.
Yes, we share the lingo. We're saying things that a normal. Well, I say normal. Just a layperson.
Non-mutant.
A layperson would not know what we're talking about if we're saying certain keywords or code words. But I think that's the specialty I have. Like when talking amongst other magicians, we can just say what we already know, and especially helping each other out, improving stuff too, having jam sessions. Those are fun for me.
Oh yeah.
I wear different hats, literally, but as so I do other things too. And there's a time where I was a poker dealer for like 2 years, and I would never mention I was a magician. It's a bad connotation about that. But what's funny though, when I stopped being a dealer, and one of my coworkers, he just found out I was a magician like a month ago, and I'm like, oh, I never showed you a magic trick. He's like, no, what? So those are the kind of things that are like special to me though. It's like after I showed him, then the magic just became more personal and awesome. But I would, at times in my life, I would say what I'm doing right now, either I'm working, but right now I would say I'm a magician.
Landon, what does it feel like to be a magician?
Well, I mean, if someone were to ask me what I do,
What do you do?
Well, I would say, I would say what, for work or for fun? You know,
That's the question,
actually,
right?
Yeah.
What do you do for income?
Could you do
Retail, you know, easy. For fun though, I have too many hobbies. You
Yes.
know, I'm a magician. I ride a unicycle. I
Sounds
walk
bad.
a slack line.
Yeah.
All the stuff. It's like, wow, what?
Just keep going. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. How does it feel to be a magician? I feel like you always have a bargaining chip in your pocket. You can always like use magic to your advantage if you know how to use it. You know, you can always make money. You can always, you know, trade something for a magic trick if you know how to do it right. Like I used to be back in high school. I actually used to be homeless for halfway through junior year and through senior year. So I would like hitchhike kind of far out, and whenever I was needed money or whatever, I would go up to like a Subway or something and like go up to the worker and be like, hey, if I blow your mind with a magic trick, you got to buy me a sandwich, something like that. And it would work out at the time.
Survival instincts, man.
That's when the survival instincts really kicked in. So magic was definitely helped me get through that entire phase of my life.
Like you'll be fine. Like you'll never be like homeless if you know magic, you have a deck of cards. Like,
Even if you are homeless,
or even if you are homeless, like you'll eat that.
You'll make it work.
You know?
Yes.
James, what you meant since
I used to get nervous. I still get nervous saying it that I'm a magician because it's like, what do you do? It's like, well, for work or for fun or for hobbies. So when I would meet up with I remember I went to a financial peace university group, like a Dave Ramsey kind of course, and there was like 30 people in the room, and everybody had to say their names and their career.
Oh boy, it's coming up.
It's like, I'm a project manager. I'm what's another fancy one? I'm an investment broker. I'm a general manager of like 50 different restaurants, but they're all broke. It's like I'm doing this, and it's like I'm a magician. It's like, and then everyone has turns, and it's like, oh, here we go. And then I don't know, it's kind of like awkward because they're like, well, what do you mean a magician? It's like, what do you want me to say? Like, I'm an entertainer, and I'm an adult entertainer. And that's
That could be taken a few different
There's no way you
ways.
can say it without someone looking at you weird. And then it also, in that professional workspace, people look at it as like a kid's job, not a big boy job. Yeah. And so, I love saying that I'm a magician, and it's like showing people what I have for it. It's like,
you can take pride.
like
in that.
I've sustained my family with only magic with a deck of cards. I don't even bring Sharpies with me or rubber bands. Like I just bring the bicycle cards. And
one of the most incredible things ever, man. That's so incredible.
So like lately, I've been like, I'm a magician. Like you look at me weird, and I'll look at you back.
I think it's one of the most badass things, man. Because it's one thing just to sustain yourself, right? Off magic. If you're homeless, you get to eat, but to sustain a family off of a magic, like that's an incredible feat. Something to be so proud of. Just the general stigma around being a magician, right? Like, I mean, that is it's tough, right? I mean, it is kind of why expectations are always so low, but it is.
Describe the stigma. What is the stigma?
So I would say the stigma is magician tends to be around the same level as clown, and like you get very low respect from people initially. If you say magician right off the bat, I've had it on dates. I'm like, hey, what do you do? It's like, well, I'm a magician. They're like, what?
Why did I go in this thing?
Yeah, right. And so obviously it's if anything, perspective, right? If you see it as an opportunity to change someone's mind, then it's a good thing. But
there are all kinds of clowns, though. There are really well-paid clowns.
Oh, there are.
Just because I ride a unicycle doesn't mean I'm a clown.
Yeah. My takeaway has been more of like, I don't think I can change the stigma as a whole. Like, if Copperfield and Blaine haven't been able to twist this around, I can change the individual though. Like every person that comes into contact that I meet on Ring Street or just doing magic, this is my opportunity to change how they perceive a magician. And so it's almost like a responsibility I feel to them to do the best I can. But just want to see what you guys think about just that general. I don't know. Is it fair to call it a stigma? How would y'all describe it?
Yeah, I mean it's there. We're a step above ventriloquism.
Yeah. Wait, what?
But then sometimes you get lucky and find people who are doing business at a certain level are really into magic because your magic your caliber matches their caliber, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. I find that the smarter the person thinks they are, the more frustrated they will get when you prove them wrong or when you show them something that's impossible.
Yeah, it's like
they're just like, wait, no, how?
Yeah.
I mean, cops are fun to do magic tricks too, because they're just in this place of power.
Yeah.
Yes.
And just blowing their mind is pretty
their
fun.
authority gets subverted. Like, and they're like, wait, what? Like, I'm not the person in control here. And it's like, whoa, what? Like,
one of the best tricks I did to a cop. It was the school cop back at my high school. I ended up pickpocketing his watch off of his wrist.
Oh, cool.
And I did it in front of like some teachers and some counselors and everything, and then I obviously gave it back in the end.
Yeah.
But
Did you?
Yes. No, I would take it off and I would show it behind his shoulder so like everybody else could see it, but he's completely oblivious. And that was pretty fun. Just the fact that I pickpocketed a cop and I can say that.
Last week I had like 4 police officers come and watch.
oh,
And everybody thought I was in trouble.
you're arrested.
But they and I would never ever ask police officers for money. They get it on the house.
Yeah.
But they were amazed. I mean, he stood next to me. There was like their new hangout spot was right next to me, and they kept telling people to stop. And everybody listened because they're cops. So they're like, guys, you have to stop. And everybody's like, okay.
That's a cheat code.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I was like, dude, you can't do that. Like, they don't know what they're getting themselves into. Like, I can't do my.
Pay this man the money.
Yeah. They're like, you gotta tip him like at least $20. So they're like per trick, and like per trick.
Per move. Just
Per shuffle.
Dude, they didn't even realize they were in uniform. Like, I think they didn't realize the authority they had there.
Yeah.
Or maybe they did.
Yeah. What a vibe. Yeah, that's
now
awesome.
you've got them on payroll.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, that's a vibe. Okay. But I guess final question: is there anything you guys just want to share or say? Like I mean, this is like final thing. Anything you guys want to say? Fuck 10,000 times. This is your opportunity to do so. We can go around the.
Don't challenge us.
It's been 5 hours.
People are magicians watching this, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have enough books.
Yeah.
You have enough tricks. The real secrets are inside yourself. Go find them there.
I would say for anyone watching that might not be a magician, you can do it. It's possible to pick up a deck of cards, start with a shuffle or two, and just start with basics. Do what feels comfortable to you. Watch some videos, read a book. You will learn more than you ever thought was possible.
I think it's great when you meet other magicians and they can help you out too. Like, there was a point where I wasn't working after I stopped being a dealer, and I was trying to find another job and I just couldn't find anything. And I didn't put the thought of doing magic again would help me out get my income again. So, and I think kudos to you, and I want to thank you guys, because I met John Carlo, which led me to meet you and another magician, Michael, and then you guys led me to meet James, and you two really helped me out, like kind of motivating me to do the street magic. So I would say, if you want to get into magic, meet as many magicians as you can and come across them, and you probably learn something like you never thought you would know. And I think that's life in general too.
Awesome. Yeah, we're slowly taking over Rainy.
Yeah.
and then West 6, like all of Austin's slowly getting.
I know.
I'll take East.
Yeah.
Magician on every side of the street. Turn into the Las Vegas Strip.
Yeah, right. Any last thoughts? I didn't know if you had any final
Let's
thoughts.
see. Ponder my head.
That's 6 down. That's 6 down.
down.
Six down. 9,994 to go.
Dude, I don't know. I feel like magic I would be somebody else if I wasn't a magician, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that kind of I found that career choice, and then I'm sticking with it.
Yeah.
You know, I had plenty of other career options that I was working at that I could have stuck with, and they didn't really give a crap about magic. I was like, I gotta get out of here. It's like if I want to have any shot at this, you know, you gotta do that and do it full time.
My closing thoughts. I just want to thank each of you guys for making the time to even come out here. I mean, this is great.
Thanks for the invite.
This has been the world of me to just even get a chance to sit down. I've never had this in my life, and so I'm probably the same for you guys. Like, I love the fact that you guys love magic. That magic has given so much to each of us in different ways. It's so cool to see each of us at different points along this whole journey of magic. I'm sure if there was a 50-year-old magician or 60-year-old magician, like they would have different wisdom to impart on each of us.
Oh, for sure.
But it's just cool to be on that journey, on the path, you know, like of magic. And so, thank you guys. You guys are badasses. Keep up the magic. Let's keep blowing people's minds.
Let's do it.
And go team.